What's up, everybody? Today we're going to do like a little simple video. I'm going to kind of talk you through my first impressions of the first few weeks of being an Automower owner. So I am in the transition zone. I have Bermuda, so I'm like the last person that gets to mow grass. So these are still like literally first impressions because the Automower has been going, but it's mostly been cutting, like helping me scalp because I've been like slowly lowering it down over time. I've also been running the mowers. I've been scalping on my own, but basically just running it so that I know it's staying in the right places and that it's getting where I want it and all that sort of fun stuff. So the installation process, you bury the cable. So this is the 430X. You have to bury the cable. I told you in my little intro video, or the one where I was kind of teasing what I was gonna do with the Automower, that my lawn is probably the most complicated lawn to set up an Automower or burying all these cables, because I have lots of curves. I've got fairways everywhere, and I like there to be this like undulation in the edges to the rough. So we had to bury the cable along those places because the Automower is gonna mow everywhere where it's ½ inch, and then I'm gonna mow with like a normal rotary mower everywhere where it's taller, everywhere in the rough. As far as the installation goes, you could use anything that will get you like to open up the soil where you could stuff that cable down in there. A couple of the recommendations for most homeowners, like most normal people, you could use a weed eater, or not, an edger, I guess, a stick edger with like a metal blade on it that will cut down into the dirt. A straight edge, so my straight edger is pretty cool. Thing I make my live edge beds with works really well. That'll open up a big old dip in there that you can get the cable down in. I've got all the little miniature tools out here with me, so they're just kind of running around and playing with things they probably shouldn't be playing with. The shed's not little tool friendly. But what was I saying? So yeah, stick edger, straight edger. You could use a shovel. You know, in theory, like you could just cut an edge with a shovel, stuff that cord down in there. Obviously, the most ideal, like if there's pros and cons to all of these, but there's a machine, a cable bearing machine that you could possibly rent. I've heard from someone that might be really difficult to find, but I would think it would be worth it. A cable bearing machine, you can put the spool of cable on that, it digs like a trench, stuffs that down in there, and like pushes it all back together. It's kind of amazing. So if you can find one of those, that's the most ideal situation. For my yard, I used that for part of it. For part of it, I used the stick edger. I'm in Arkansas and we have lots of rocks. I don't know if it's just my part of Arkansas or whatever, but basically everyone around here knows that digging a hole really sucks because there are rocks everywhere. The stick edger was not my favorite personally. I talked to Brett Goodyear, he's down in Florida, where apparently the stick edger worked great. He cut a line with that stick edger and he put the cable down in there and it was no problem. So that's probably the best bet for most of you. But the stick edger didn't get a really good trench. Like it made a little line, but not like a good trench. My straight edge, awesome. Like I can make a huge gap in the dirt, stuff that thing down in there. And I've had to do that in a few places where the cable didn't get buried, where it's just kind of like laying on top of the grass, even where the cable machine might have hit a rock or something or bump or whatever, and it just laid the cable across the top. I could go with my straight edge, open up a gap, push it down in there, no problem. Like push it back together, and that thing's awesome. Again, on my yard, I'm dealing with like 40,000 square feet here, button up to 40,000 anyway. So using that straight edge on the entire thing would have been a lot of work. Like I just say that, like that would have been a lot of work. But a normal lot, normal house, like where you're in the backyard, probably just going around the edges of a fence, I wouldn't think it would be that big of a deal. Like it just depends on how much space you've got and how far you want to go with it, how much money you want to spend. I would think that if you're going to buy a straight edge, you're probably going to spend pretty close to the same amount as if you could just rent one of those trencher machines. So again, pros and cons to each of these things. But a stick edger should work for most people, and the people at Husqvarna told me that that's what most homeowners use to bury the cable if they're going to do it themselves. You can hire a pro to do all this stuff on the website. Like if you go onto Husqvarna website where you're looking at all the Automowers, it'll show you the price for an Automower, and then like right after that show you the price if you've got a pro to install it, like pro install versus install yourself. So you can obviously check that out at your leisure. Now, my first impressions, right? So how does it work? I love it. Like I think this is going to be amazing. I still don't know how it's going to be peak season. I'm going to keep you guys posted. We're going to keep doing these update videos, and I'll tell you how it works in the middle of the summer when the Bermuda's growing like crazy. But so far, so good. Like the mower just goes out. You don't even think about it. Oh man, what's really cool, people are always like, oh, it's going to get stuck here, it's going to get stuck. People have barriers to everything. You suggest this, like I got a robot mower. Oh, that wouldn't work on my yard because I have like a mud hole or whatever. I have a mud hole too. Yes, I've done sand leveling, but I have a spot where I definitely need to do more this summer. I have a big mud hole, and the mower, you can see these tracks, the mower just goes right through it. Like, it has gotten stuck a couple of times. If there was like a lot of rain, we've had a lot of rain recently. If we had a huge downpour and I forgot to like turn off the mower, you just get on the app and turn off the mower, say, don't mow today. And it's like, okay. But if I forgot to do that, it did get stuck. Doesn't ruin it. It just says, oh, I can't cut here. And it just like pauses and says, save me. But all the places where I thought like, man, the thing's gonna have a hard time in this area, it has not had any problem at all. In fact, if it gets to a place where it's like, oh, this is tough and I can't cut here, it backs out and then goes a different direction. So again, I love it, and I'm really excited to see what this does, because anybody who has had one of these, I've gotten messages from people who've been telling me like, oh, I've got one of those and I love it, it's so amazing, I don't mow at all. And Brett Goodyear was like doing this stuff. He can mow in the middle of the winter. He's in Tampa, near Tampa, Florida, so he's like mowing all winter long, so he's already going gangbusters with his lawn. And he tells me that he doesn't mow. Like, he doesn't have to mow. The thing does all of it. And so I'm super excited to see how this works and not have to mow as much. Like, I still can. If I want to mow, I can go mow, but I won't have to. And if nothing else, like, it's gonna help me with that. It's gonna help keep the grass short instead of me scalping it some of the time. So, but yeah, again, I guess we're still talking about first impressions. I have been super impressed. I don't know, early Pitfalls, the cable, it's buried in the ground. There were a couple places, there was one place where when you do the return line and you attach that to like the boundary line, it shows you all this in the instructions, by the way. But that place was not buried because we had to attach it and whatever, and then like it was just sitting there and I forgot to bury it. The mower ran over its own cable, cut it, and it just like turns off and sends you a thing on your phone. It's like, hey, the loop is not complete, I'm not getting a signal, save me. And so you go over there and you just put the little, wire connector back together, crimp it with the pliers, and it starts mowing again. So not too bad. I did cut it with a shovel. I actually just fixed one just now. I was just setting the shovel down and I just like put it down on the ground and cut the wire with the shovel where I like shoved it down on the ground just to have it stand there. But I fixed it. Again, wire, crimp them together, starts going again, no problem. It's super simple. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Like, the kids have fun with the mower. The kids think it's awesome. We named this one Robo Tool. And the kids think it's super fun to watch going out, and they talk about it, and they're asking me about the mower, where is it, and can you pull it up on the map, and you can see the map. So everyone thinks it's kind of fun. It's interesting for sure. We're gonna have some fun with the auto mower. We're gonna do some other interesting things. Yeah, of course, like the lawn tools do, right? It's not just gonna be a mower. It's gonna be more than that around here. But anyway, I am impressed. I like it. I think so far I'm a huge fan, and if it's as good as advertised, which everyone who's messaged me told me that it is, I'm going to love it all year long. Because again, I just won't have to mow as much. I think it's amazing. I'll focus on the edging, right? Keeping those nice crispy edges. Again, super simple video. I didn't want to do anything too complicated. Just wanted to, it's going black. I just wanted to give you guys an update. But I'm gonna go play with the little tools too. A little tool and your baby tool, right? So anyway, that's kind of it. Just wanted to tell you guys that I'm loving it so far, and I will see you later. I'll keep you posted. I will, all year long.